Welcome to the TechSource.tv. My name is Dan, and today we are reviewing a hybrid case. It's the NZXT 810 switch full tower chassis. It's a massive case, as you can see. Right now it is on. Every fan slot is filled with either Noctua fans, 120mm fans, or the 4 fans the case did come with, which are the NZXT 140mm fans, which are also very good fans, and they're quite silent. We're going to go ahead, we're going to show you everything, the ins, the outs, other cool, unique details, and then we'll wrap it all up, and we'll give this thing a rating at the end of the day. So anyways, guys, stick around. This should be quite the interesting video, and we have the switch in black. So as you can see, this is the exterior of the case. I'm just going to do a quick walk around of it. And it's got this super glossy finish, as everyone's already pointed out. It looks really great, though. As you can see, look, it's reflecting off everything. You can pretty much see my entire room, and then me walking across, holding the camera. And it looks really good. A super gloss finish always looks nice, but it is a fingerprint magnet, unfortunately. I'm going to do one more pan around back here. And as you can see, if you do make a quick note, you can see the LEDs right there. And there's one up there, lighting up the entire aisle shield panel and expansion bay. These nice white LEDs. Going on to the top, as you can see, all the fans are wide open. And the light does, from the right LEDs, do shine through. Now our studio, or basement studio kind of arrangement, is pretty bright, so some of the lighting effects aren't as extreme as they normally are. We're going to try to move around, move around to the back of the case. I'm going to show you the best I can of the rear lighting. So check that out. There's the rear lighting on, lighting up everything. Pretty sweet, eh? It's even lights up down at the power cable. So those two little white LEDs do quite an awesome job. And overall, just the desk appeal it has, or let's say the room appeal, is pretty nice. And look at that. Even those white bladed fans now look red because of my red LED bars. So we're going to move along to the top of the case of the exterior styling of this case. As you can see, the top of the case carries the gloss finish with some nice accent. From the front of the case, we see these flat black lines come up and move all the way to the back of the case. These also have in them, right here is our hard drive activity LED, and also our power LED is right here. So it kind of goes along here, and it looks really nice. It's white LEDs, and also our power button is up here. Up top here, we have all the top ventilation for your rads or top exhaust fans, whatever you prefer. You can either have it fully open like this, or close it by moving this switch, which is nice. It restricts airflow, but air still gets out through the gaps, and there's nice vents right here. It reduces maybe about 80% of the airflow, and still lets a bit through, but you are going to see temperature increases. Quick note I did notice with this case, when I did install all my hardware, was I did notice a temperature drop. Because this case has very low restriction on the fans, a lot more air was able to escape more efficiently and actually quieter, which is really awesome. So as you can see on the top here, I have 3 120mm fans mounted here. 2 of them are mounted to a rad. This one here isn't mounted to that. It's just kind of sitting here and it's just sucking hot air out of the case, which is always great. So we can do 3 120s or 3 140s and do a 3 by 140 or 3 by 120 radiator with push-pull setup. And there's plenty of room to spare, which is great. And it's easy to remove this top piece here and open and close it, which is awesome. So let's move on to the front. So as we can see, this is the front of the case of the switch, and it looks really great. It's got this nice gloss black finish. It's so glossy you can actually see me in it. It has this really cool look to it. It's got, everything is kind of stealthed out. You can't really know front intake grills or anything like that. There's one little one, and that's really it, which I really like. It's got a nice, really clean look to it. The front panel connector is right here. You open that up, and then let's zoom in on here. So as you can see, in the front panel connector, we find ourselves 2 USB 2.0 ports, 2 USB 3.0 ports, which have an internal USB 3 header, which is great. But unfortunately, it does not include a USB 3.0 to 2.0 converter. So for guys like myself that don't have internal USB 3, these ports are useless to us. Or even a converter that puts them back to this from the internal so I can plug them in the back. Because I do have 2 USB 3.0 ports on the back of my motherboard tray. My other case had just the straight up, just these ports, and you just kind of plug them in the back, which were good and bad at the same way. But in the future, this case is better for the future, but for guys who have the in-between stage motherboards, not really the best idea. Awesome feature, SD slot. Don't really see that on any case. Don't know why, but it's a genius feature. And it's really helpful for myself because I do a lot of video editing, so for me, that's an awesome feature. Headphone microphone, pretty standard. Reset button, cool. LED button. I'm going to show you what those LEDs do later. Basically, they're LEDs that light up your IO shield plate and your expansion slots, which are sweet because that really helps out finding where your slots are in the dark or even in the light. It actually really helps. You can see all the colors and everything better. It's just awesome. Closes up really nice. So, moving down, you can see here's all our expansion bays. Expansion bays are very easy to remove. Just kind of push this here, take it off. As you can see, you don't want that. Not very aesthetically pleasing. Put this on. Oh yeah. Keeps the gloss look going. Looks a lot nicer. Down here, we have our hot swap bay, as I mentioned before. You can just pull this out, but it is screwed in at the moment, so I can't really pull it out. If it wasn't screwed in, then it'd be a really true hot swap bay, but I just have nothing in there, so I don't really want it moving around and about like that. So you can put a 3.5 inch or 2.5 inch drive in there, whatever you desire, and hooks up through SATA. And as we move down, we find a front panel, and you can just pop this open, give it a nice firm push, and we have a nice dust filter here, plus this vent here too. And 240mm fans we find. The case does come with the top 140mm pre-installed, but I also added the second 140mm fan. You can also take these two out and put 120mm fans if your heart desires. Also, there is a dust filter on the bottom, so it just quickly pops out, and it just goes back in. And this is for the bottom 120 or 140mm 2x120, 2x140 fan mounting options or radiator mounting options, which is really awesome because you can put up to 3 different radiators in 3 different sizes in this case, which is really cool. So that is the basic overview of the front of the case, which is cleanly laid out, super easy to use, maintenance, and all that kind of stuff. So great job there. So we're going to move along to the back of the case, and we'll show you that. So as you can see, this is the back of the case. Back of the cases are all pretty much the same. So we got an IO shield plate, can be installed here. I don't use mine because mine actually doesn't fit with my motherboard because it was actually stamped wrong. Also, we have you can either put a 140 or 120mm fan. Comes with a pre-installed 140. I moved it. I prefer 120 because I put all the 140s for the hard drives. Now, you can have 9 expansion bays here, which is great for quad sly or quad fire, which I like to call them. There's also, on top of that, we have quad water cooling holes for your tubes to pass through if you have an external water cooling solution, which is great. And also we have a bottom mounted power supply. And on top of that, we have a dust filter for the power supply. Cool stuff. And it's the same style dust filter as the front one, and it's super easy to uninstall and reinstall. Other cool features on the back of this case, which you might have noticed. Check out these center thumb screws. Cannot speak tonight, but if you unscrew them just a little bit, I tighten them up just so they don't rattle or anything like that, which they don't, but I like all my screws nice and tight. So anyways, you push this down and you can open the side panel. So if you just undo, let me undo the side screws really quickly here, and I'll show you how it works. Push this down and you can open up the side of your case really nicely. And it's also on the opposite side. Cool stuff. They brought that over from the NZXT Phantom, which was an excellent case, and that was the first time where I saw this. Great feature for opening your case really easily. Alright, so we're going to move on to the inside of the case. As you can see, there's tons of room. I have a standard size ATX motherboard in here with a single video card setup and a poor man's water cooling solution, which is pretty compact actually, compared to a custom water loop with a reservoir, a massive rad, or even multiple rads you can do in this case. You can actually do up to 3 different rads in this case. Locations you can put your rads are in the top. You can do a 2x120, a 3x120, a 3x140 up here in the top. I got a 2x120. You can do a 1x120, a 1x140 here, or on the bottom. By removing a couple things, you can do a 2x120 and a 2x140 in the bottom, which is great. Now I'm going to show you some of the things you can remove in this case, because this case is very modular on the inside, which is great. Before we get on to anything else, all the standard stuff, you can remove your top DVD drive bay to allow more space for a thicker rad. You can also remove both the DVD drive bays, which is pretty awesome. You can also unscrew the entire case and disassemble the entire thing, because held together with minimal rivets, which is really cool. Also, we have toolless drive bays. You can easily install them and uninstall them. Extra thumb screws here. You can take out these actually 6 screws, and take out all the hard drive bays, and by using these nifty handles, really cool. And then unscrew these 4 screws, these 2 on this side, 2 on the opposite side, and then you can actually mount your rad on the bottom, which is awesome. So lots of different ways you can mount things, and also on top of that, you can take out that hot swap bay by removing these 2 screws, 2 on the other side, and you can take out the whole hot swap system to give yourself more room for I don't know what. So very modular. NZXT left this case open to the user to make this case their own, which is great. I love to see that. Also, motherboards it does support is XL to ATX, extended ATX, ATX, and ATX are the standards, are the main ones. It does support a few others, but these are the main ones that you and I will be using. Also, has lots of room for rubber grommets everywhere, which is great. So I'm going to show you a couple of these. So check it out. We got 3 here, and all in great spots. We have another 2 as we move down more. And then we have my unique way I mounted my SSD, which is pretty cool. So it's kind of a smart way of mounting it. And then also, on top of that, we also have all the room for all our power supply cables. I love these massive rubber grommets because you can fit all of them in very easily. When I was installing all the hardware, it was very simple to do the installation, which was great. Also, the one all the way down here for the front panel header, which is smart. On top, there's even more that are hidden behind the motherboard tray if you install such as an MATX motherboard. Why you'd have a case of this caliber or this size of an MATX motherboard would blow my mind. And I don't know why. But anyways, you can do it, and there's tons of space, and everything in here is toolless or has thumb screws, which is great. So super easy to do installation, very nice interior, guys. So as you can see, this is the back of the motherboard tray. We have a massive CPU cutout all the way up here. You can pretty much put any CPU in there, I wouldn't doubt. It's big, it's wide, and it's tall. So you can fit everything for pretty much any socket. Beside it, you can see this, check out this individually sleeved cable. This is actually came with the case for extending your 8-pin connector, because actually my 8-pin connector couldn't reach the top of the case by running it behind the motherboard tray. So NZXT kindly provided one with the case. And I love how they did include the sleeve cable, because it does look actually really nice. But it does look out of place in my case because none of my cables are actually sleeved. So now I'm going to have to go and sleeve all the rest of my cables. Other cool features NZXT did add in this case was this fan module here. This fan module lets you plug up to 7 fans. You cannot control the speed, but it does offer power up to 7 different fans. And with a case this size, most motherboards probably don't have enough fan headers to support all those fans. And it gives you one central location to plug everything in, reduce clutter, and also cable mess. Other cool things. Here we go, 6 hard drive trays. You can mount all your hard drives in. The hard drives are very easy to remove. Basically, just unplug the cables here, pull the hard drive out, and you can easily just bend these to open them up, put them back on, and then slide your hard drive back in, and then reconnect your power and data. Very easy, and it's a very good system. A lot of cases use it, and I definitely do like it. So. One thing I did notice when I was building, I'm going to say about this one, those mounts are a little stiffer than others. It'd be nice if they had a little bit more pliable plastic. So it's a little bit of work to do, open those, but it does work though. So it's not a complaint, it's just an observation I've made. So that's behind the motherboard tray. Also, there's tons of room. Putting on the side panel was very simple. So we come to the part of the review where I summarize everything and we tell you what we really think about the case. Now I've showed you all the great features and a flaw or two, and overall we're very impressed. Best way to sum up this case is called attention to detail. NZXT really thought about the small things, and the small things that actually make building a PC easy and not frustrating. Now there's a few things that, well, I did get a little frustrated with when I was building it. For example, the hard drive cages were a little bit difficult to work with. They could use a little bit of a softer plastic that's a bit easier to bending, but they do work. Also, the USB 3.0 header, internal header, which is a great feature to have, because for future motherboard supports, all new motherboards are coming with them, which is awesome. But for guys with older motherboards like myself that don't have that, but do have USB 3.0, that's back here. Unfortunately, I can't use the USB 3.0 ports, so they're useless to me. And that's really the only issues we have with it. Things that are awesome with this case, on the total flip side, are aesthetically, it looks sweet in black. In white, I'm not a fan of it, but that's to you. That's all to, you know, the style and the decision of that. That's to you, really. To me, I think the case looks great. In white, not so much, but black, it looks awesome. The window, sweet addition. It looks a lot better. Cases without windows, I'm on the edge about. I'm kind of on the fence about it. Some cases it suits, some cases it doesn't. But with windows, this case does look really good. Now I love the actual fans on the actual hard drive trays. How you can angle them. That's freaking cool. Also, all the cable management system's really sweet. Lots of room behind the motherboard tray. Huge rubber grommets. All that stuff. It's really sweet. Everything's in perfect location, which sometimes is hard to find in some cases. All the water cooling and fan support, which is awesome. So 2x120 / 2x140 rads on the bottom, 3x120 or 3x140 in the top, and you can also do a single rad in the back, 120 or 140, which is awesome. And all the fan slots support 120 or 140 fans, which in the past, some cases we reviewed, didn't really see that. I like to see cases with support for both sizes fans, because 120s and 140s are now the standard, and a lot of people still have 120s kicking around, such as myself. But 140s are great, and they are starting to become more of the norm because they are quieter and they push lots of air as well, and they're bigger fans, which is great. Other cool things, tons of dust filters, front, bottom, and the second bottom one, which is awesome. So dust in your case will be minimal. 6 hard drive supports, also 7 including the expansion bay, or if you do the SSD mounting style I did, you can do now 8, which is pretty awesome. Really cool feature, the SD slot in the front, which is something really basic that all cases should have, but they don't. I found that really useful, and if you do use your camera or do a lot of filming, nice to have. Other cool features are the LEDs behind the motherboard tray. behind the case at the back to see all your IO shield plate. That's really awesome. That's something really cool and a very innovative idea. And overall, it's just an awesome case. Anyways, guys, that's our wrap-up and summary of the NZXT 810 switch. It's a really sweet case. We're going to give it a 9 out of 10, minus those 2 little things. And also, if you're wondering at price, it comes in at a price of $189 Canadian from what I've seen. So under $200, you're getting one hell of a deal, one hell of a case. If you're on the market for a new case and you want a full tower, honestly, guys, look no further than this. It's a very unique looking case, and it doesn't have that, like, it's got a very clean look to it. Not that, like, ooh, look at me with all my plastic, like, bits and, like, hanging out of me, and you know what I mean. Those, like, military-looking glass cases, and they just look cheesy, guys. This looks sweet. Like, this actually looks good. And it has a look that probably won't get boring. But anyways, if we were to buy this, if I was in the market for a case and I was looking for a case, I probably would pick this up if I had that kind of money to spend. Unfortunately, I don't. But if I was in the market, I would be picking up one of these cases if I was in that range of spending money. I know a lot of people on our show don't really some of you guys don't really have that kind of money to spend on a case. You might be saying, oh, that's a little too expensive. You know, I could put that towards something else, which is great. That's all the power to you. But if you are looking for a full tower, guys, definitely, I highly recommend this one. It's a definite, you must check it out and watch our review. Other cool videos, guys, with this case we have done. Please check out our unboxing. Link is up here. And also check out our build video. Link is right here. Those are really cool videos. They're both very long, especially the build one. It's me and my buddy building it on this table, filled it with a GoPro. Pretty awesome. And also, finally, guys, as always, please remember to subscribe, rate, thumbs up, like our Facebook page, check out the Steam group, and we will see you guys next time here on the TechSource.tv. And also want to personally thank NZXT for providing this case, because without them, this video would not be possible.